Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's your favorite time of the week because it's a new episode of Understand This. Y'all give it up for the man who just went viral on his first TikTok, Finesse Mitchell.
What? Give it up. Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back. This is Understand This. My main man, Mr. Genie D's. How are you, sir?
What's up, brother?
Listen, bro. It's going to be a special episode. Want to know why?
Tell me why, bro.
Because no matter, somebody might meet you, the younger you, in your career. And you may have goals and dreams, and they may be able to see it, right? But you only see this person every other special day of a gathering where it's like an event or somebody's visiting. You don't get to see this person all the time.
Right.
So I want to say that if they say the company you keep says a lot about who you are as a person, whether this woman knows this or not, I feel fortunate to be or to claim to be in her inner circle. So I want her to always know she can call on me for anything. And I'm going to respond. Might respond late, but I'm going to respond. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my good friend, author, an empowering type of person when she's not even trying to be.
Right.
And with a killer smile. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michelle Hollinger.
Oh, you are trying to make me do the ugly cry.
Go ahead, let it out. It's all right. It's a safe place. Safe space.
Safe space.
Let it out.
Safe place. Michelle, how are you?
I'm fantastic. What an intro. What an intro. I feel honored. I feel honored to have known you for as long as I've known you and just to see your trajectory. And I'm so not surprised that your first TikTok went viral because that's the kind of energy you put out. So there you go, bro.
I don't thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I literally told anybody who asked, manager, agent, said, stop coming to me about that TikTok shit. I'm not learning nothing else. I'm not.
Yeah.
Stop it. That I lost that battle because that ship, I'm not even trying to jump on it. I lost. Don't encourage me to do it. And so out of the blue, I took the video and said, well, let me create an account and put the damn video on there and forgot about it. Somebody screenshotted it to me a day later.
That's the best.
And said, bro, you got like 1.2 million views in 8 hours. And I'm like,
what's your reaction?
I didn't know I was like, where is that? Because I had my phone in my hand. It was glued to me. So I was like, where are you right now? He's like, on TikTok. And I was like, oh, yeah, I did make a TikTok.
Right.
My first TikTok. And it was just like, oh, I got 30,000 followers. And it's just like, it was dumb, bro.
Bonkers.
It was dumb.
Air horns.
So for everybody who has the hundreds of thousands and the millions, I see how you all of a sudden switch a little bit. Because I have literally been walking around my house saying, I got to check on my followers. I got to check on my followers.
Excuse me,
I'm viral. I'm viral. I got to check on my followers.
Oh.
I didn't understand it before, but now I'm a little hey, don't touch my phone. Michelle, when good things happen like that, good energy, I am a vibes person. I'm an energy person. I think I am always excited, delighted, comfortable. I like to be myself, and I don't feel like I can do that with a lot of people. You're one of those people that I want to say what I want to say. I don't want to be judged, and I respect your opinion. You respect my opinion. But wow, this was so worth it to just have a dope conversation, And this is in passing, Jeannie. You know what I mean? It's not like, I used to manage her brother in an R&B group.
Word?
In Miami.
Yes.
Hey, what was the name of the group?
Low profile, baby.
Low profile. Low profile. Shout out to Winston LaDon, Mr. Nealon. This is something crazy. I was around those cats very closely every day for like years, maybe 2-3 years. Like I managed these cats. And strange thing about your brother, Michelle, is that out of all that time I was like that close to them, he knows that I'm a Kappa. He knows that I'm a Kappa. So for him, a year ago, 15 years later, to freaking put on a Omega Psi Phi shirt, he just pledged Q. I'm like, so I didn't rub off on you at all, did I? You looked at me and said, "Nah, I'm gonna do the other thing."
Oh Lord, yeah, he shocked all of us with that.
I'm gonna bring it full circle, Michelle. You ready?
Okay, yeah, I am.
Okay, the reason I brought up my personal viral and how I feel about it, it's something I've always wanted to do and never put the work in doing it, but eventually was saying, I'm gonna take my shot. I don't know. The spirit, just something would hit me. But that pressure of like, you need to do this, you need to do that. I was making people like, stop doing that to me. I don't want to do that. I know for a fact that when I talked to your brother and he said, man, I ain't gonna lie, bro, I always want to be a Q. It takes a certain type of person to be like, I'm going to get this done. Especially when your college days and young youth are long gone. It's a special type of person to check off a box that they always had, saying, I'm going to check this box. And that's how I feel about you. I feel like when I'm talking about you or thinking about you, I feel like I know part of your story. And to see you now still consistently saying, this is not going to beat me. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm going to be happy. And now to say I'm going to make sure other women are happy. This book is brilliant.
Thank you.
Your book is brilliant.
Thank you.
It's called Sis, You're Worth It. 7 Ideas for Manifesting Your Best Life. And there's no other person I feel like that would, if somebody said your name, I say, yeah, put her up there. Easy top 10. She should have a microphone. You know what I mean? First of all, so question number 1, what inspires you to inspire others the way you do or the way you want to?
What inspires me, being deeply immersed in my own authenticity, and it took a minute to step into that space. But being in that space and being myself, it has this just natural desire for me to create space for other people to be themselves, And so it's easy for me to see somebody else's strength and to celebrate it because I'm living from that space of authenticity. And I'm deeply, deeply, deeply plugged into my divinity. I know that I'm a spiritual being having this human experience. And so that's just how I roll. I meditate every day, affirmative prayer, and I just stay plugged in, and it helps me to know, the importance of connection and the importance of knowing my connection to my sisters and being in a space where celebrating them just feels natural to me. It gives me joy to celebrate my sisters and to see them soar. So sharing my story, first doing my own healing and sharing my story with others, and initially not even, mindful that sharing my story would motivate somebody else, but then being led, like you were led to do that TikTok, I was led to share my story in my books, and when people read the books and they come back to me like, oh my God, Michelle, I didn't think about it that way. I know that I'm in that space where God wants me to be doing what God wants me to do. So I just stay plugged into my divinity and I roll like that.
You're a dope writer. I've always known that, Michelle. Michelle and I are going to sell a movie, people, before this whole thing is over with. You know what I mean? Our timeline and schedules are going to align, and we're going to work on a project because she's a fascinating writer. And when you say get over a healing space personally for yourself, do you feel like most people have to go through something in order to understand what somebody they're trying to reach might be going through? Because
absolutely,
I've been around a lot of people that's just happy go lucky from day one. But they're trained. They went to school for what they do, whether it's therapy work or whatever, and they're coming from it they're coming at it from such a textbook type of mentality of I can recognize this behavior. I know what this is. Okay, that's fine and dandy. I know a lot of people that go to therapy. I've been to therapy. I know a lot of people that go to therapy and can sit in front of somebody else and hear them talk for a little bit and know from the jump, you haven't been where I've been. I at least want somebody to know what I'm going through. Or been, just
Right.
This is surface.
Yeah.
I feel like the place of authenticity you come from. The question number two is, do you have to have a trauma or have been hurt or going through something serious to make it on the other side, to really believe that it can be done, to empower other people, to be more effective in the eyes of other people who are like, okay, her story is this. I can relate to that, so I'm going to listen to her. Does that make any sense?
It does. It makes a whole lot of sense. I think there are some people that and they're in the minority of people who don't have to have had, a traumatic experience to be able to empathize with other people. So there are some of those people who just have that calling on their life and they're able to empathize and connect at that level. Most of us, however, I believe, are able to come from a deeper space and have a deeper connection when we have lived through some stuff and we've learned how to overcome it, learned how to step into a space of healing and knowing what to do in order to align with what you're really here to do. Understanding that all these other things could become distractions if you don't know, who you really are and whose you really are. So there's definitely that benefit. I know unequivocally that the work that I've done over the years as a sociologist, as a social worker, as a spiritualist, as an author, the fact that I've lived through some things and I've healed in some ways and I've learned how to do forgiveness, that definitely plays a role in me being able to connect with other people.
Right.
Because I can see real clearly, almost immediately where somebody's coming from, how that unworthiness might be showing up in their life, how that lack of forgiveness might be showing up in their life. And I can speak to them in a way that doesn't make them get defensive. I can speak to them in a way that says, I see you. I see what you're going through, but I see the bigger picture of who you are. I see where you can go once you've done this work. And so I can join with them at that level and they feel that authenticity. They don't feel judged. They feel seen. They feel supported. They feel loved. And it makes a difference. When you have a therapist, who can say that in so many words, been there, done that, and they can join with you at that level and they can understand the pain and the trauma and they're willing to take that walk with you. It makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Huge difference.
I would, Jeannie, what do you think?
Well, I love the book, by the way. Thanks for writing it and sharing your ideas with the world. So thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Absolutely. I particularly like the section on spirituality and this distinction you draw between spirituality and religion. And in fact, I was thinking, Pew Research has some really cool polls out that show that especially millennials identify more spiritual and not religious on these self-reported quizzes and stuff. So there's this lean in America towards identifying as spiritual as opposed to religious. So given, this distinction you draw between spirituality and religion, I just thought it was timely and pertinent to right now. So I guess my question is, how do you see this work fitting into the world? What does it give people? What does it provide people? How do you see this fitting, into the world?
I think what it does is it gives people permission to ask questions. A lot of folk were introduced to a religion as a child, and then they grew up, but their religious beliefs didn't change. And instead of, understanding that there's some things that you get to question, people have distanced themselves from religion. And I think that that's a good thing. It's a really good thing because there are a lot of folk who follow religion blindly, even though it doesn't serve them, even though it doesn't help them to improve their lives. They're just kind of locked in to tradition because their family was a part of it, because they're afraid to piss
That's
somebody off.
85% black folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We your mama tell you where you hey, it's church.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we're thrusted into it.
It's crazy. In this research, about millennials identifying as more spiritual versus religious. Of them, the minorities are more religious, and of minorities, black women specifically identify the most religious. So that is a uniquely black occurrence, social occurrence.
I don't think religion would be as strong as it is, if it wasn't for women, period. But definitely black women when it comes to like AME or,
Right.
Baptist.
And my grandma.
Yeah, like everybody. You wouldn't even have a religious court. My father used to wake up on Sunday morning stark naked and would let you know he's like literally rolled up out of bed. You had to get up to cut the TV on back then. So you didn't even want to be nowhere near the room if you heard the sheets moving, because there's a 90% chance he's not wearing boxers, right? And that was Sunday morning. You know what my mother was doing? She was getting dressed for church.
Right.
He had no intention. I mean, Sunday was Braves baseball. He had no intention of going anywhere. So when it came to just like a spiritual core, that she hats off to her, like, because she was like, my baby's gonna go to church. What this might, I think the whole trying to be affirming, that's the word that's going around a lot, Michelle, in these apps. A lot of people
Affirmations.
This is a safe space. And some of these I'm in some of these apps, Michelle. I ain't, trying to escape. That's how I deal with COVID. Going to these group chats. When it comes to black women, I've heard it all my life, that they have been slighted the most, but they sacrifice. That didn't come out as smooth as I wanted it to be, too. But basically, they sacrificed the most and have been slighted the most, but are behind the success of probably like 100% of the ideas that you can't even accomplish it in today's world without a woman on your team, and vice versa. That a lot of times, I don't know, in the business, I've seen women come up, and they only want to work with women. It's like, I'm trying to get as many black women through the door. So I see you, brother. We'll call you if we need you. If we write a male, 35, 45, African-American, we'll call you.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you fit this, but rightfully so. How do you deal with, or how do you, because sometimes when I read your work, you are coming from a place of, ladies, this is what, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Ladies, don't you dare give up. We too strong. If we stick together, if we uplift each other, if we encourage each other, we're going to win. We're going to elect freaking Jewish senators and African American senators in Georgia to the Senate. We're going to do it. We are going to mobilize. We're going to do this thing from the streets, from the ground, and we're going to do it. We're going to get it done. And right when we see that it could possibly almost happen, that's when a lot of dudes come in and be like, yeah, so what y'all need? Because we got to get this done. And then when it's done, everybody up there locked in like we did equal work. You know what I'm saying? But it takes women, and a lot of times black women, to get these powerful movements going. And so sometimes I feel like your work kind of reminds people of that. The consciousness of positive thought.
Absolutely.
Hey, first being conscious and being conscious of what you're. Be aware. Because all that negative energy and negative thinking, I mean, it may be some common sense things that don't need to be said, but I'm going to actually say it in this book. If you think negatively, your life will be shitty.
Absolutely. There's no way to think negatively and to manifest your best life. They just don't align like that.
But what if you're so angry? What if nothing has worked out, Michelle? Nothing. Relationship hasn't worked out. This your third relationship. This your second career. You going through COVID alone, and anybody that want to come through, they just want to come through to have sex. Anybody really checking on you, in the dating department is just like, hey, want me come through? And this is your time to sit by yourself in this time period and say, okay, I got to do some self-reflection. Why?
And that's what it boils down to, self-reflection, because the common denominator in all those broken relationships, the common denominator in all those successful careers is you. You were the one who was present at every single, experience that didn't work out the way you wanted it to. And so it's not about blaming or, finding fault with yourself, but just recognizing that you have a responsibility to show up in a different way for yourself. And that all these things are reflections of how you're thinking about yourself, how you're thinking about the world. And when you can get to a space where you can acknowledge that, okay, these things happen because I'm thinking this kind of way. The beauty in that is if you want to change your environment, change the way you're thinking about it. That's where it starts. People think that, that we're being Pollyanna-ish and implying that everything's a hunky-dory with the power of your thoughts. But that stuff is true. It is real. People who expect to get the flu every year, they get the flu.
Right.
They get the flu. People who, are caught up in bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship. It's because something inside of them is attracting that energy towards them. And the minute they make that shift, they lose their taste for these dudes who mean them no well, who are just bringing this negative energy into their space. But it starts with self, and when you can get into that space where you really take a look at yourself and you do the work to heal, there's no way around it. You do the work to heal. You do the work to recognize that.
I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off. I don't wanna blame myself. I don't want to look at myself because my situation and where I'm at was caused by somebody else.
And as long as by somebody else,
I want to blame somebody else.
Then you'll always be blaming somebody else, and you'll always be powerless, because when you blame somebody else, what you are essentially saying is these people got to behave a certain kind of way in order for me to feel peace. They got to behave a certain kind of way in order for me to be happy. And as long as you do that, you have no power.
What if somebody owe me apologies and we ain't nowhere near it, and I'm not fooling with it till the hurt is too deep and it's too one-sided to know that I was wrong. But it's affected me so much that I ain't ready for no relationship. I'm not ready for it. I am. I want company, but I'm going to probably make that person miserable. But I'm not going to be miserable by myself. Like, how do you avoid going through life like that? From your dating to your job and your attitude to how you interact with family and loved ones. How do you go from all that when it's not my fault. I'm this way. Somebody made me this way. What if you're starting from there?
Comes down to a choice. Sometimes, you just need a little tiny opening, a little tiny shift in consciousness for something to seep in to help you to see that, all these people messed up in my life. All these people did this, that, and the other. But essentially, it comes back to me. It comes back to me being willing to forgive, and not in a way that I'm saying that what they did was cool. Because if somebody did some harmful stuff to you, that doesn't mean that you condone it because you forgive it. What you're doing when you forgive is you're saying to yourself, I will no longer be hostage to this situation, right? I'm not going to stay stuck in the past. While this person has gone on and they're living their doggone life, but I'm replaying this thing over and over and over again. And because I'm replaying it, it's showing up in my life again and again and again, different faces, different situations, but the same experience is showing up in my life all over again because I haven't done the work to release the past. And when you release the past, when you shift the way you look at your past so that you're not saying that it never happened, but you can do the work in a way, you can do what I call radical forgiveness in a way that your relationship to your past becomes, okay, you know what? That's my history. It happened. I can't change it, but it no longer has a hold on me. It's not controlling how I move right here and right now. I'm controlling that. I'm controlling how I manifest in my life, how I show up in my life, because I've gotten control of my thoughts. I'm not willing to give my power away to people any doggone more. So I'm letting all that shit go. I'm letting it go. It's not going to keep me hostage anymore.
Why do you feel like some people, it takes certain people 2 months to like, okay, I'm done with that? And how come it takes some people 7 years? Why do you think that is?
Consciousness, and it depends on how deeply ingrained the wound
Like
is.
maybe it's the same pain. Two siblings
Right.
experience the same trauma, same divorce, same. And why does one act? Why do you think that is? Like, you know what? That thing happened. Oh well. Versus the other one going, man, all this shit is a lie. You know what I mean? Life is a lie.
Right.
And they stay in that place and never thrive. They dope cheerleaders for somebody else, but when you say, hey, you can do it too, they're like, But they attribute it to like, oh, you know, shit was fucked up when I was young, or X, Y, and Z, or this heartbreak, me and this relationship, I haven't gotten over it, and that person moved on, and fine for them, but and then it turns into a men ain't shit,
Right.
or vice versa. We I mean, I don't fuck with hoes. You know what I mean? Like, you understand what I'm saying? How do we not drop it? How do we not drop there? Or how do we come? How do we come out of that?
Yeah, people evolve at different levels and at different speeds, and people have different levels of threshold, a different threshold for pain. Some people can tolerate pain, for a much longer time than somebody else, right? And it's going to take something, that is bigger and more monumental for them to kind of help them to understand, you know what, I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I need to figure out, how to change this, right? As opposed to somebody else who's like, you know what, I recognize that this is not a dress rehearsal. Right. I recognize that life is in session. And I'd be damned if 5 years from now I'm going to be dealing with the same shit that I'm dealing with right now. I need to do something because I'm tired of living the way that I'm living. And I'm open to recognizing, what needs to be done so that I can make this shift. It all depends on consciousness, because again, if a person's able to let just a little sliver of light in, it can, if they're ready, illuminate some things inside of them and help them to, just kind of start to move through life a little bit differently. Some people got to get knocked upside their head. And, the way the universe works, sometimes we get that little tap on the shoulder, right? We ignore it, because, whatever. And the next thing you know, we got this, mushed upside the head, and we ignore that. Next thing we know, we get body slammed. And some people got to get body slammed before they recognize, oh my God, I have an opportunity. I have what it takes to change this situation. You know what I mean? So different thresholds of pain, different levels of consciousness, but we all have access to the same shit. We all have access to the same spiritual energy, the same, level of divinity. We all have access to it, but we all awaken to it differently. Some people go their whole effing life, without realizing how powerful they are. Some people get to the end of the road. That's how people end up on their deathbed with a boatload of regrets.
Right.
Because they just kind of sleptwalk, they did some sleepwalking through their life without realizing what they had inside of them. And I think that religion plays a role in that. We talk about the difference between spirituality and religion. If your idea of religion, and it goes back to your concept of God, but if your idea of God is that God is this white dude in the sky, arbitrarily blessing you based on your behavior, you've given up your power. God ain't no white dude in the sky. God is energy. God is life force. God is inside of you. And when you recognize that, and you embrace that, you move through life differently.
Pain that. That's my promo. That's my promo right there.
Amen, brother. I was just talking to my sister, though, about this idea of motivation, because she's like adding psych as a major to her class load, by the way, which is insane. But we were talking about, she had to read this chapter on what is motivation in this psych book. And I don't remember all the different ways they categorized it or quantified it, but one of the sections was like on Maslow's hierarchy or whatever of needs, shelter, blah, blah, blah. And it just seems like if you don't have at least a baseline, if you're not up to a certain point in Maslow's hierarchy, that consciousness shift just seems unlikely. If you don't have like your core needs met or like a baseline for living, then, and I think a lot of times that's where religion steps in to provide this reference during when your needs aren't met. It gives you something to latch onto. I think religion functions in that way, but it just seems like if you don't have a core set of needs met, that paradigm shift, this shift in consciousness we're talking about, that seems very difficult for some if you don't have a baseline of things met. So I think religion steps into that space sometimes.
Because
you're absolutely right. Because with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if a person is dealing with homelessness, getting food on the table, having those basic needs met, they don't want to hear anything about, changing your thoughts and,
Right.
forgiving folk. They need to have those basic needs met first. You're absolutely right. But beyond that, we have an opportunity to step into a level of being responsible for our lives, being willing to give ourselves permission to think a different way. If something isn't serving you, you have the right to look at thinking a different way.
Eventually something has to click.
Something has to click, and it has to click inside.
Inside.
Absolutely.
I firmly believe that, because some people, it's effortless. I don't know what they're doing with all that negative energy and all that negative trauma and how they get it out or whatever, but they're so they're goal oriented and they're just like boom. And I know so many great dads that I think don't get celebrated, but I know so many great dads. Why? Because I'm a great dad, and then I'm trying
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I'm trying to keep that same energy around me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I still know a lot of guys that they just want to date. And we're talking about 40 and up now. They just want to date. And so when they come to me and talking about a certain relationship, it always goes back to the same thing. I don't know that many women in their 40s, bruh, that just want to date. I just don't know if they like you. It's not even moving the goalposts, because a lot of times dudes say, man, she moved the goalposts. I said what it was going to be. We talked about it up front. She was cool with it. And then all of a sudden, women good for saying, so, what is this? What are we doing? And anytime your lady say, can we talk? You be like, oh,
We need to talk.
What? Okay. And then when both hands got to come up, then they got to stir. That's how they say, what is this? What are we doing? What you mean? And then you got to go through that for like 30 minutes. Because he going to keep saying what you mean. But what are we doing? We about to watch TV, and then we're going to go out later. No, this. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Right.
Women, it's countless, genies, countless of people online right now, Michelle, trying to play matchmaker during COVID. And try to accomplish something. Maybe this is the time for me to slow down off my grind, take a look around, see where I am personally and where I want to be socially, and let me focus in on that. And everybody's online now. But people, I hear in these apps that people are starting from a place of, yeah, but this is what happened to me. Yeah, well, this is what I'm looking for. And this is what happened to me has nothing to do with this is what I'm looking for. He's not even, you know what I mean? And so people are taking a chance, trying to click their way to, because guys want what they want, especially in COVID. A lot of guys ain't really just trying to lay up with nobody unless they're like, yo, I'm really so easy to make a COVID baby right now.
COVID baby, Lord have mercy.
So easy to get caught up in one of these 10 months of doing the same thing every day.
My neighbor just had a baby.
You just had a baby, right? Yeah. Has it been, and it's been longer? See?
It was definitely a COVID baby.
It was definitely a COVID baby. I had the dude tell me, yeah, man, my son just arrived. I'm like,
huh?
What? You are 49. Yeah, man. Hey, man. So I know a lot of people that March, April got real busy. And so I don't know. Sometimes, Michelle, I feel like people How do you not complain so much about your situation where you just don't realize it's you? It's the situation. You know, the energy you're putting out is just saying something totally wrong. As a guy who's taken, sometimes I look at women and I say, I say it to myself, you're going about this all wrong. And you can't even interject to just care enough to, I mean, you can care, but you can't really say, you know what I would do if I were you? Because A, who wants to hear that?
Right.
But B, I think I know a lot about the type of guy you want. You know, I've been friends with you long enough. You know what I mean? The energy a lot of times is so important. And some dudes just be like, she is just right now energy. She will not be a forever partner type of energy. And some people don't even realize. And vice versa. I'm not saying guys are not.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I just see a lot of people trying to find somebody. And I keep hearing the single guys say one thing, same thing. Some are not. Some shouldn't be talking. Some dudes shouldn't be talking, right? But those other dudes who are like, yeah, I know exactly what I want. I'm not getting nobody to, knock me off my box. I know exactly what I want. Some women try to fit into that square peg into the round hole just to be with someone and then realize later, okay, he not going to change.
Yeah.
And some dudes is like, I know what change. Did you really think I was going to change? Every situation is different, right?
Every situation is different, but you know what? Ultimately, it comes down to an understanding that every relationship is not coincidental. You know, there's a reason that sisters attract a certain kind of fella into her space, and it goes back to self. You know, and ultimately, all of these relationships they have the potential to become, spiritual partnerships when you're about that healing. You know, so you talk about sisters being in their 40s and not just wanting to date. But if they haven't cleaned up some of the stuff that, was predominant in their life when they dated in their 20s and dated in their 30s, they're going to bring that same dude into their 40s, and so they're going to keep, doing that revolving door with relationships, but until they recognize that it begins with self. The way that I'm treating myself is going to be reflected in the way that this dude treats me. So if I'm loving myself, if I'm taking myself and my dreams and my goals seriously, if I'm, nurturing every single aspect of who I am, right? The person who shows up in my space is going to be a reflection of that. And so if he's showing up in your space with foolishness, okay, it's time to take a look at the kind of energy you're putting out. And making a determination about, whether you want to continue doing that or not. Because essentially, here's what it boils down to. We attract people for three different reasons. We attract people based on what we need, based on what we expect, and based on, what's the third one? We need, we expect, and I'm blanking on the third one. But essentially, because we're
if they find it sexy and my type.
Yeah.
Type,
because we're spiritual beings having a human experience, we can't get away from our spiritual nature. And it's always at play. It's always a factor in every single part of our life. Always a part, and when you get to a point where you understand that these relationships come bearing gifts, if you're willing to start with self and to look at how, what you're bringing to the table and why you're attracting that person, and you could do some really amazing things as it relates to, crafting the kind of relationship that you want. But it starts with, so you got to do that work first. You got to do that work on self first.
Here's something. Michelle, I don't think a lot of women know how much work dudes actually put into the actual hunt of finding at least 4 girls that they're more than just friends with. Now, not all at one time, but there's just this time period where you're like, okay, I've been to this many clubs, this many bars, this many, I've been around this many people, I've met this many. And so when it comes to just having numbers in your phone, you're like, oh yeah, there's Tracy, Trinika, I don't know, what's another T? Trina.
All the T's.
All the T's. But you got them all lined up. And then you're kind of picking maybe from that one, like who's your, who's your person? Because you're not just going, some people just are not going to dive in with one person, right? And even when you meet that one person, a lot of times there are at least 2 people out there that know you and deal with you in a certain way. You know what I mean? Y'all are dealing. So now you meet that person. You meet that, oh, I think she might be the one person. So, but you're kind of like, okay, how do I get out of these other two relationships or letting somebody know I'm about to get serious with somebody? All that stuff to me goes into what I feel like the hunt is. Men go through that like especially when shit was open. You know what I mean? Everybody's out in the street and people dating, doing whatever. But I feel like men. Okay, let me shorten this. I don't know why I'm so long-winded today, bro.
You're getting the thought out.
I know, but it's crazy. I feel like women don't know how much work men put into the game, into the grind or the hustle of the game. And the reason a man ends up with the one is because literally in those 2 or 3 years, he saw like maybe 20 that he was kind of trying to narrow down. But with 5, you know, not I got 20 girls on speed dial, but I've met some cool people. And these 5 I'm dating. And these 2 I really like. And I'm just going to nail it down with that one. Men get a lot of at-bats. Women don't do that. Women can go out as much as they want to, dress up as much as they want to, and look amazing as much as they want to. A lot of times they just will not approach men, you know, like a man will approach a woman, right? So if they're out, that don't necessarily mean they got in that bat because nobody spoke to them because they were waiting for somebody to come speak to them. And then they go back and say, I think men are intimidated by me. So by the time you finally find that one dude, he finds you and you find each other, he's found you because he had a lot of at-bats and he chose you. Like, I'm picking this woman. I feel like women just don't even understand. Some people do, but a lot of people, it's so easy. They go out, they meet somebody, and all of a sudden they get in a relationship. And some women go out night after night after night after night, and they still haven't found or met somebody. But the opposite of that, dudes go out night after night after night, they're going to talk to somebody. So I feel like the game is different where you get so many at-bats as a dude that by the time you lock it down, you're like, I know this is the one that I want to be with. Versus I don't feel like a woman gets as many interactions like this. I'm dealing with this person. So when they finally find that one, dude got so many comparisons to look at you from. Does that make any sense? A whole slew of dating people. I do not think my wife has dated more people than me.
Right. There's more reference points that you're at least remembering and comparing.
I thought I was in love at 12. So I know I started in middle school. So that's a long ass time. Wow. You could have gave me a now later back then. I'd be like, you my girlfriend. You know what I mean? I was in love all the time.
Were you going by finesse back then?
No. When I got to Miami, finesse started. Because I wasn't going in that University of Miami locker room and telling them boys my name was Alfred. That wasn't happening. Shit.
I don't know how to respond to that because I think it's different, you know. I think that there are some women who fit into the category that you just described that men, you know, do a whole lot of hunting. There's some women who do a whole lot of hunting too. But then there are sisters who, you know, have the belief that the way that they're showing up intimidates men. And it goes back to the power of your thoughts. So if you believe that the way you show up in a space where dudes are intimidates men, you will always attract men who are intimidated by you. And so that revolving, you know, door of how you're moving through life is going to keep on unfolding that way because your thoughts are just that powerful.
Or you won't even get a man to approach you in the first place because you look intimidating.
Absolutely.
You look like your thoughts.
That's the energy that you're putting out, you know?
You sit down at the bar, they put the drink in front of you, and you tell your girlfriend, it ain't nobody in here, girl. Like, so the dudes that's looking at you, that's the one moment he caught your face. I don't even know why we came in here. Ugh.
It requires more muscles to frown than it does to smile.
Absolutely.
You know, my dating career, like especially like when I met my wife, this energy of just like, I don't need nobody. I'm happy. I love the Lord. You know what I mean? It was just one of those.
My cry.
Yeah, you know, it was one of those. So, Just the Lord. That's all you love. Ain't no Derek or nobody like that. You know what I mean? Oh, I think I got pretty good odds over here, man. But what attracted me is that she knew what I knew what she knew what she was doing for a living. I knew what she was doing for a living. She was happy. Mm-hmm. She was in the industry. She was happy. You know, she was walking around like she was happy. And sometimes you look at a woman and be like, man, she don't need me. She don't need me bothering her. She looks, why am I about to bother this woman? And then you just be like, hey, you look, I know you pretty much got it together over here, but if you're hungry and like the Cheesecake Factory, then I am your guy. You know.
Okay, so Finesse, what was the feeling that you had in your gut that convinced you that you should go for it, even though she presented as not being not needing somebody? What was the feeling that you had inside of you that said, you know what, I got to go for this?
Okay, outside of just her being like the most gorgeous woman in the world to me, you know what I mean? Like, you know how sometimes you see somebody and you just be like, oh, okay. You know, talking with my wife, she just sounded super smart. You know how guys say dumb stuff? She sounds smart as hell. You know what I mean? That's to me, that's just a dumb comment. You know what I mean? Of course she's smart. But I'm just like, man, she's just articulate. You know, it goes from this, oh man, she's so like the way she would see if I needed anything, because at the time it was just she was working on a movie, and so she was working at a studio or whatever, or a production company. Sorry. Mm-hmm. But my interactions with her made me feel like there might be something there. So you know how women are just nice and sometimes and nice and professional and just they make you feel important or special. And you know, but it's just them being them. But in a dude's mind, he's like, she want me. She said a good morning and shit. Just the way she said it, dog. She was like, good morning. She sang that shit. Yeah, she set it up. She set it up. She feeling me. She feeling me. And so, but I think that was energy, right? What you were talking about. That's what she was giving off. Mm-hmm. And it was up to me to be like, let me take a swing. Let me take an at bat and see what happens. And so I think because, and this is the main thing, sometimes it's easy. The conversation is easy. The coordination of where you're going to meet up at is easy. The decisions come quick. If some person doesn't like something, it's a quick comment. I don't want that. It's not a let's pretend like I like it and let's go and then spring this on you 5 years later. Let me tell you something, by the way, I hate grits. How you hate grits? I'm from Georgia. You know what I mean? Like, you know, go through that shit. But it's easy, Michelle, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what did it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm full of long answers today, but.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what did it.
And you know what? So somebody else, you know, who may have looked at Idris and said, oh, you know, I'm intimidated by her, would not have taken the shot. But there was something inside of you that connected with something inside of her, because you guys have a spiritual partnership, right? That led you to each other, you know, and you said yes to it. Some folk, you know, are just so not connected to who they are, you know, they don't even realize, you know, what they're bringing to the table, you know, till it can get to a point where their ideal person is right in front of them. Right, the person that they're supposed to connect with, they're supposed to have this spiritual partnership with, but they are so out of alignment with who they are that they can't even recognize the person. So you guys lined up because you knew who you were and she knew who she was.
You know what I'm gonna say? I think she knew who she was and I knew what I wanted.
Ooh, okay.
I knew exactly what I wanted. And if there were boxes to check, she checked them because I knew I needed a certain calm and peace and an understanding of what I did for a living. That's most important. I don't care how much, what I have learned in my life is I don't care how much you love or like somebody. If they don't dig what you do, they don't dig you. because you are that in that moment. So if I'm an entertainer and I'm saying that I love to grind, the stage is my wife. That's my other wife. I love her. She's been faithful to me. She keep it real with me. When I'm not on my shit, she boo me. And when I'm really coming with it, she applauds me. And I can't even ask for anything more in a relationship. So that's why I love to do stand up, because you get that instant, you get it, you know? And so when I compare that to what we're talking about today, when it comes to like what I need, what I know I needed, I see it in that person. And there's something in the dude, there's something in the guy, Michelle. He wakes up one day and he says, I know what I want. And the reason I talked about all them faces over those 20 years, because if you haven't met that person yet, you can actually look back on some of those people that you weren't ready for back then and say, absolutely. You know what? Let me DM her and let her know that if that status is still, does that say single on your status? Okay, well, are you hungry?
Are you hungry?
Are you hungry? Can we eat?
Always works.
Fellas, I don't care
hungry?
What type of pickup line you have in your back pocket. If you look at a woman and just say this, you like to eat. If she say no, she's a damn lie. We all like to, we have to eat. So you asked her a question that there's no way she can tell you a bullshit answer. Do you like to eat? Not would you like to go out with me? I just want to know you like to eat. Yeah, I like to eat. So do I. That's crazy. That is crazy. When is the next time you're going to be hungry? Certain ways to do it. Smooth. It's comical. You know what I mean? The person is laughing. But if you approach sometimes women that way, in my opinion, you get all the information you need. Because if she's still laughing and she's like kind of, if she's, and if she ain't feeling it, she shut that down quick.
Yeah.
No, I'm not hungry. Matter of fact, I'm gassy. You might need to back up. I'm not hungry. No. Shut that shit down quick.
I already ate.
Ain't no more.
I already ate for the month. For the whole month. I already ate.
Lord have mercy. Your whole approach, though, it speaks to, I think, the importance of just having fun, when you're approaching, relationships. Just having fun with it. Sometimes we get so serious and so locked into how things have to be, that we just go into it and just miss the joy and the fun of it. If it works out, good. If it doesn't, what did I learn from the experience? How can I take what I learned from this, quote unquote unsuccessful relationship or experience? What did I discover about myself, and what can I take with me into this next experience?
Mm-hmm. I think that's the killer of a lot of relationships, Jeannie. When one person, more so the woman, because I'm a dude, but when one person says, it has to be this way. I've envisioned it this way. I've pictured it this way. They told me it goes this way. So why aren't we doing it this way? And you know what the other person is saying? Why are you complaining so much? Why are you always like, can't we just be happy? And it's so simple for that person, because even the way you're asking is shutting me down. Therefore, I'm already at, why are you?
Why are you breathing?
Why are you breathing? Why are you breathing right now? Oh my God.
I'm looking at me.
Women are notorious for it, because I've had people do that to me. Dudes, we tune out. Be right there. You didn't hear nothing you said. Because it's the certain way you're communicating, which is just versus that upbeat. You can still ask the very same question. Get a totally different response with your energy, mood, and the way you ask it. But I would not jump back into the single game. Well, if I did, I'm done. I'll put it to you that way. If I mess this one up, I'm done. I'm done. My mission and calling in life is to go around the country and entertain people and make them laugh, make them feel good about themselves. And I will be a prisoner to 4-star hotel rooms for the rest of my life. That is my prison.
I'm leaving.
You know, but I think there's a bigger thing. There's two things. Go into it with the expectation of progress. Just progress. Because it's gonna work itself out the way you want it. Versus you going into it with it has to be this.
Right. So that's progress instead of perfection. Absolutely.
Yes. Definitely. And then the second thing is, are you going somewhere? Does that make any sense? Listen, are you at the point where if I leave my plate on the side of the bed for more than one day, you know, if I do that 2 more times, you really gonna leave? You know, I think sometimes people get in relationships and they feel like the other person is froggy. I'm not talking about marriage. I'm talking about like we're dating, we met, and now we kind of hitting a little stride. But sometimes you can get the energy that somebody is froggy. Does that make any sense?
What do you mean by froggy?
They might leave. You hear people even say the words, ugh.
I'm going to leave.
You know, and because I think you can speak stuff into existence in a relationship when you talk like that. You know what I mean? Why would you say that? Why would you? Now you got me thinking.
Now that it exists in my consciousness. Yeah,
now that exists in my consciousness. You would leave? Okay, tell me what you want me to do again. You know what I mean? And not one of those I've been telling you for 20 times, stop cheating on me. Not that. You know what I mean? This the 20th time. I'm leaving.
Wow.
I think people got to be committed to therapy.
Oh, yes.
I think if you get serious, I think within like 2 years, go see somebody together and just have a conversation.
And that's so powerful. Go before there's a problem, before there's a serious problem, you know, and learn some skills for how to communicate.
So sorry to interrupt, but this is so good. Finesse, we have a segment to do with Michelle, and I wonder if what she's saying now fits into that segment. We got to ask her what she wants other people to understand.
So
we do this segment. I think your answer is going to be brilliant. So we do this segment where we ask people what they want other people to understand. And I wonder if this answer, you know, could be that segment.
Michelle, if somebody came into your presence and you just had to leave them with a jewel or just something, just so they could be like, yeah, her name was Michelle. You know how you don't forget a Michelle? Her name was Michelle. Yeah. What would be something you would want people to understand about you or about anything that you could drop right now by saying, hey, this is Michelle Hollinger, and I want people to understand this, and then go. Say it.
Okay, so I am Michelle Hollinger, and I want people to understand that they are enough, right where they are, and that everything that they have experienced in their life brought them to this now moment, and it's time for them to embrace it. It's time for them to look in the mirror and see just how freaking awesome they are, to you know, embrace everything about themselves, every single thing, the flaws, the beauty, the strengths, you know, the fuck ups, embrace everything, because all of it makes you who you are. You know, I hate those invites in magazines and whatnot to say, you know, if you could talk to your 21-year-old self, what would you say? If I could talk to my 21-year-old self, I would tell her, thank you, girl. Thank you. Because usually when people, you know, are invited to do that kind of thing, to look back, we do it from a deficit perspective. We look back at our younger self and we tell our younger self what we could have, would have, should have been. And that don't work because that person doesn't exist anymore. And when we do that, what we're essentially saying to our younger self is, you know what, you were not enough. You were not, but there are so many things that we achieved, so much we learned about ourselves, at that particular age, there's a specific age that each one of us has that is that tipping point for us. We can look back with gratitude and thank ourselves for who we were, what we did, what we achieved, that quirkiness about us that nobody else understood, and understand that we had to be all of that in order to be who we are now. We are good.
Tag that second promo. Second and third promo. And note to self, don't ever let me ask another woman, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? I would probably tell my 20-year-old self, hey, them security cameras work. Don't go in there. Because me thinking them things were unplugged changed my whole life. I would have told myself, don't you go in that room. Them cameras work. Michelle, where can people get your book?
They can get the book on Amazon, amazon.com. If they want to learn more about my company, because I have a whole company around this whole worthiness thing. The website for the company is the instituteforworthyliving.com. And they can get autographed copies of the book at that website, but they can order, just a traditional book from Amazon. Sis, you're worth it. 7 ideas for manifesting your best life.
Do you have good people working with you?
I do. I don't have a big team. My daughter is my research assistant. That's Stephanie Michelle Hollinger Harris. And my best friend is my confidant, and we bounce ideas off of each other, Danielle Guerin. My son is my spirituality guru from his generation, Tyler Harris. So yeah, I have, and then I have amazing spiritual teachers. My pastors, Pastor Greg and Pastor Yolanda at Celebration Spiritual Center. Every single spiritual leader I've ever had in my life has poured into me in ways that just helped me to see who I am and to heal from stuff that was holding me back. You,
word,
my brothers,
word,
yes.
Word. Let me tell you something, people. Whatever the goal is, whatever the dream is, whatever the talent is, put the talent in the box that you take with you everywhere you go, because the day you open up that box, how can you look at your own talent and close the box back up?
Ooh, boom, mic drop right there, boy. What?
I'll give you theme music to that, boy.
Let me tell you something, people. Her name is Michelle Hollinger. She's a dope person, great friend, super dope writer. The Institute of Worthy Living. Is that a .com? The Institute of Worthy Living. Not only am I going there, but your words in your latest book, sis, you're worth it. Let me tell you something. I said this shouldn't just be for women. You should have just said,
drop the sis, yeah.
Just you're worth it. I was in chapter 2 saying, she right. She absolutely right. Sometimes you got to read it. You are enough. And who you surround yourself with really does determine your trajectory in whatever field you trying to. How you going to. Can I go there?
Hey, go there.
How you gonna get the job if everybody around you unemployed? How you gonna find your wife, fellas, when every guy you hang with is a hoe? They gonna block you.
Come on now.
Yep.
The consciousness of, as Michelle said, not only positive thinking, because we've heard that before, but energy. It is an energy that people don't believe is real, and that is real.
Absolutely.
And it could be the very difference whether you get a job or not get a job, whether you find love or not find love, whether you're a good friend to somebody or not, or whether you're a good parent to someone or not. just your energy can make your kid not even want to come around you.
Absolutely.
Parents know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because my daughters never want to hug or kiss me. But I'm not taking it personally right now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Before I let you go, Michelle, why did you take dope black female recording artists and take passages from their song and put it in between the chapters of your book? That was a pleasant surprise.
Yes. You know what? Music has such a profound impact on just how I see myself, how I move through life. And, you know, it's just something special about having that song that has the lyrics and the melody and the hook and everything that just push you into that space. And so after each chapter, and it was just a part of my writing process, there was a song that Spirit just kind of revealed to me, ooh, this really emphasizes what you just wrote about. And so I'm like, you know what? If it's having that impact on me, let me share that with my readers. So yeah, I love that part of it too, and I'm so thankful that you picked up on it.
Absolutely, I just think that's what makes people different from other writers. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And Jeannie, because I know you love music and you're a music guru, I don't think people actually read lyrics enough. We're so busy singing a song. There are some lyrics in certain people's music where literally you are like, you know, not enough people have heard this song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus our multi-platinum songs, where the yummy. I don't know. Certain songs that just take off.
Right.
I'm a lyrics type of guy. I'm a neo type of guy. Like it's some people, music soul child. Certain people that write lyrics. You make the hair on the back of my neck stand
Neo
up.
can write.
That's the first. That's the first line of the song. You make the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
In key. That's a meme. We're making a meme out of that. And he was in key.
Anyway, but yeah,
that music does sort of like, it's a way. Music is one of those things that kind of transcend these other things that typically unify us. So like music speaks to so many different people. And I think, because the songs you chose were pertinent and the lyrics were so powerful, it definitely is sort of this medicine for your soul that transcends other boundaries. Speaks in a way that, it speaks to a lot of people. So, the lyrics were very pertinent.
Ladies and gentlemen, sis, you're worth it. 7 Ideas of Manifesting Your Best Life. It is available now. InstituteofWorthyLiving.com and on Amazon.com. Her name is Michelle Hollinger. And this was one of our first, Jeannie, type of, I felt that energy.
Yeah.
I felt those vibes. And those vibes are just as important as any other vibes, because that's what keep people even.
Come on now.
All right, people, we want you to rate, review, and subscribe. Her name is Michelle Hollinger. She is an author. She is a friend. She is a screenwriter, in addition to so many other things. Wonderful mother. Beautiful kids. Beautiful, successful kids.
Thank you.
I could go on and on, but time always flies. We love you. Keep rating, reviewing, and sharing. Let's understand this. Yeah.